Welcome to Biology, the scientific study of life. Abiotic and biotic factors influence the structure and dynamics of aquatic biomes. We have seen how both biotic and abiotic factors influence the distribution of organisms on Earth. Varying combinations of these factors determine the nature of Earth's many biomes. Major types of ecological associations that occupy broad geographic regions of land and water. We will begin by examining Earth's aquatic biomes as shown in this figure. Dark blue or lakes represent lakes, and mauve represent coral reefs, and green lines represents rivers. Oceanic white blue represent oceanic Belgic zone. Steeroways or buoyant, these are represents estuaries, and the dark one represent abyssal zone below oceanic Belgic zone. Aquatic biomes account for the largest part of the biosphere in terms of area, and all types are found around the global. Ecologists distinguish between freshwater biomes and marine biomes on the basis of physical and chemical differences. For example, marine biomes generally have salt concentrations that average 3%, whereas freshwater biomes are usually characterized by a salt concentration of less than 1%. The largest marine biomes, the oceans, cover about 75% of Earth's surface, and those have an enormous impact on the biosphere. The evaporation of water from the oceans provides most of the plants' rainfall, and ocean temperatures have a major effect on world climate and wind patterns. In addition, marine algae and photosynthetic bacteria supply a substantial portion of the world's oxygen and consume huge amounts of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Freshwater biomes are closely linked to the soils and biotic components of the terrestrial biomes through which they pass or in which they are situated. The particular characteristics of a freshwater biome are also influenced by the patterns and speed of water flow and the climate to which the biome is exposed. Many aquatic biomes are physically and chemically stratified as illustrated in this figure. For both a lake and a marine environment, light is absorbed by both the water itself and the photosynthetic organisms in it, so its intensity decreases rapidly with depth, as mentioned earlier. Ecologists distinguish between the upper photic zone, where there is sufficient light for photosynthesis, and the lower aphotic zone, where little light penetrates, at the bottom of all aquatic biomes. The substrate is called the benthic zone, made up of sand and organic and inorganic sediments or oils. The benthic zone is occupied by communities of organisms collectively called benthos. A major source of food for the benthos is dead organic matter called detritus, which drains down from the productive surface waters of the photic zone. The deepest regions of the ocean floor are known as the abyssal zone. Thermal energy from sunlight warms surface waters to whatever depth of sunlight penetrates, but the deeper waters remain quite cold. As a result, water temperature in lakes tends to be stratified, especially during summer and winter, as shown in this figure. In the ocean and in most lakes, a narrow stratum of rapid temperature change called a thermocline separates the more uniformly warm upper layer from more uniformly cold deeper waters. In both freshwater and marine environments, communities are distributed according to the depth of the water, degree of light penetration, distance from shore, and open water versus a bottom. Marine communities illustrate the limitations of species distribution. that resulted from these abiotic factors. Phytoplankton, zooplankton, and many fish species occur in the relatively shallow photic zone because water absorbs light so well and the ocean is so deep. Most of the ocean volume is virtually devoid of light, the photic zone, and harbors relatively little life except for microorganisms and relatively sparse populations of luminescent fishes and invertebrates. Back to zonation, this figure represents zonation in a lake. The lake environment is generally classified on the basis of three physical criteria: light penetration, photic and aphotic zones, distance from shore, and water depth, littoral and limictic zones, and whether it is open water pelagic zone or bottom benthic zone. Zonation in aquatic environment. Notice also the depth. Marine zonation, second one, marine zonation like lakes. The marine environments is generally classified on the basis of light penetration, photic and aphotic zones. Distance from shore and water depth, intradol, neritic and oceanic zones, and whether it is open water pelagic zone or bottom benthic and abyssal zone.